Hello my loves, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video, which is going to be an almost full face of new makeup. New makeup at Sephora, Jaclyn blush. I mean, there's a lot to go over and I was ready to use this just all together. I've done a couple of separate videos on a few of these products, but there's a couple of things I also have not had the opportunity to yet use. We're going to use those today. So if you're interested in seeing all of the new goodness that I put on my face today and how it worked for me, then just keep on watching. All right, I feel like I'm in a really awkward sitting position right now. My dog is literally sitting like at an angle and right behind me, so I feel like I need to back up a little, but I can't. So that being said, let's go into a couple of things that we're going to use on the face today. I had not had a chance to do a review for you on the Norvina Volume 5, but I gotta say, upon opening this bad boy, I already knew this was gonna be my favorite out of the bunch. And then of course I started, because I knew I wasn't gonna do a review, I'm a little late to the party because of other reviews. I started watching other people's videos and apparently people are loving it as much as I am. So, or as much as I did when I first looked at it without using it, of course. So we're going to use it for the first time today. We're going to put this on the eyes, see how I like it. I tend to go against the grain, so we'll see. We're going to use this today. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're going to use the Rouge Romance blush palette. This is a collection I was so excited about. There's a couple of things I didn't get purposely. Now I'm kind of wishing I had, but that's okay. I'll wait till they come to Ulta. We'll talk about that here a little bit in the video. If you've watched my Saie cream bronzer review, you know the medium was too deep for me. The light came in and we're going to use this bad boy today. So if you are my same skin tone and are wondering if the light ended up working, we'll go over that together. And then a few other products like Makeup by Mario, that kind of thing. So we've got a lot to talk about. I don't know if talk about. We got a lot to use on the face today. Today's going to be voiceover style. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for stopping by to spend some time with me today. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting off with the shade E2 and a Morphe blending brush, I am going to pack this into my crease without sweeping it. Like I am literally just placing it down because I want it to be very pigmented, and that just really impressed me about this shade, really about this palette as a whole. I'm giving that away, but it is very pigmented. What you see in the pan, you get very richly. Just taking a clean blending brush and kind of softening that out, I went in very heavy, I guess I should say, with that crease color because I really wanted it to stand out. I wasn't looking for it to get lost. I just wanted a whole lot of pigment right from the get-go. One thing I have found about these shades is that they are very easy to blend. They are very easy to kind of just situate where you want them. I'm, like I said, very impressed so far. The shade B3 is a beautiful lilac shade, and so I'm taking that on a separate blending brush, a clean blending brush, and just placing this over top of that E2 shade that we just put down. I'm just trying to get this to peek through over, and when I say these shades are pigmented, they sure are, because I started losing a little bit of the first shade I put down. So just adding a little bit more, again, just for intensity purposes. Using that same E2 shade, I am just placing this on the outermost portion of the lid. We're going to go in with an even deeper shade still, but I was looking for a little bit of, I guess, fluidity, it would be the right word. I'm looking for it to just kind of all tie together, all flow together, and once we add the deeper shade, this shade that I'm placing down will still peek out. Now going in with the shade C5, this is a very deep shade, and I've told y'all in the past, I am always hesitant to go in with like black shades because they can make a look go south real quick, and I would kind of associate a shade like this with something like that. But I again have to tell you that this was very easy to place down. It didn't get patchy, it just held its opacity. Going in with the Fenty Pro Filter Eye Primer, just placing this down with a finger, nothing new here. If you are new, this is what I use for a tacky base in order for my metallics and or shimmers to kind of just stay put, and I am tried and true to this product. This is like my third tube. It's also a good way to get a cut crease look without actually cutting your crease. Going in with the shade A3 and of course my finger. One thing I'm going to tell you about this palette is that it has got some grape purples, which I find hard to come by. There's a scarcity of grape
purple shades in my eyeshadow collection, and I was so happy that this palette delivered that and that it delivered them in an amazing quality. So going in with a small little Morphe detailer brush, just kind of placing this in the area that my finger couldn't reach into, just where my lid meets the crease, and just kind of getting it to all look smoothed out and even, making sure there's no bald spots on my eye. Going back in with the shade that I used for C5, no added product, I'm just using what's already on the brush, and I'm just going to blend that into the metallic shade that I just placed down, because if not, you can just see the line where I added that metallic shade, and I don't want that to just look funny. So going in with the shade B1, this almost has like a little bit of a green shift, and I have to tell you, it is stunning. It is so beautiful. It adds such a twinkle. Like, it just adds this sparkle that is so elegant. Just added that to the middle portion of my lid for an added pop. Going in with some black liner. This is the Rare Beauty liner. Not going to do a wing. I've been doing this method lately just to kind of fill in any areas, just so that my top lash line doesn't look bare. Let's go in with some foundation. This is the Tarte HydroFlex Serum Foundation. Now this is the little deluxe version, and I'm going to tell you, I'm on the last few drops of this, and I have already purchased, I should say, a full size. That's how they get you, is they offer these little samples in your orders, and then you fall in love with the product, and then you have to buy it. But no, in all seriously, you guys, the hype is real on this foundation. This foundation is, I am absolutely mesmerized by it. At this point, I think that it is probably the foundation that has worked the best with my skin, that has looked the loveliest, the most airbrushed, the most flawless ever. And that's a very high claim, because there's been a lot lately that I have absolutely loved. This was in shade 25N, which is the light medium neutral, and I cannot tell you, I don't think I've ever found a more perfect shade match for my skin tone. So if you are my same skin tone, then you need to check that one out. Going in with the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer. This is not new, but I did not have a new concealer. This is in the shade 2.3. It's a very thick concealer, and if I'm not careful, it ends up looking cakey, and it did end up looking a little cakey on my under eyes. It also may very well be just the combination of that with the foundation, because the foundation is not, I wouldn't say it's matte, but on my skin, it kind of dries down to a semi-matte. I mean, it's more matte than dewy, that's for sure. Let me rephrase, there is no dew. It's more matte than satin, I guess is what I was looking to say. But just blending that out with a Real Technique sponge. This is the sponge that came in a set where one sponge was for liquid products, one sponge is for powder products, like that fuzzy type of material, and I love, love, love this sponge. Going in with my LYS Translucent Setting Powder. Again, I didn't really have a new product for powder, so I'm not going to set my whole face. I am just going to do my under eyes and then just the tiny little areas that I really want to hold for the day, because obviously it's early morning and I need my makeup to last all day. But not powdering the entire thing, because we're going to go in with cream bronzer. So the Saie Sun Melt Cream Bronzer. This is the light. If you've already watched my video review, you know that that was using the medium. I misjudged on picking out my shade, which is actually kind of rare. I'm usually pretty good about picking, but this is finally the light. I have to tell you, I think in transit it kind of melted a little bit, and when it hardened back, it formed this powdery film on top. It was very strange. It took a lot of digging for me to kind of break through that top layer, but once I did, it was very easy, just like the medium one, which was very easy to use. And I do have to tell you, I'm happy to report the light shade is the right one for me. If you have watched that video, you know that that one looked very pigmented very quickly, and this one did take a little bit of building, but I loved the end result. Going into my cheeks, I always have issues. I'm not very skilled at bronzing my cheeks. It ends up looking muddy. It ends up looking messy. So here shortly, we're just going to kind of buff that out. We're not buff that out, but we're going to kind of melt it all together using a sponge, because you'll see here in a second, my cheeks look very, very sloppy. And for reference, I am using the Fenty, I think it's the 125. I am so happy with this shade, you guys. So those of you who were curious, I know there were some of you, definitely go with the light. So just using my same sponge and just kind of going over the edges for that bronzer because it definitely looks messy. It looks like I don't know what I'm doing, quite frankly. So once I do this, it just all melts together. It looks really, really nice. So I think this is what I was most excited about. This is the Rouge Romance palette, and it is the warmer of the two. I want to say the cooler one is Rouge Affair, and this is, of course, from the Jaclyn blush collection if you were unaware, but I'm pretty sure most of you know. So I'm going to mix two shades, Tempting and Pretty Posh, just because of the eye look. I was so wanting to go with that bright orange in the middle, but it definitely wouldn't have gone with this eye look. So these are very, very pigmented, you guys. Very pigmented. I have to tell you, I was so impressed with these. These are so beautiful, so stunning. The shades are intense. The formula is flawless. Like, it just goes over my skin. It doesn't emphasize anything. It's so smooth, and I have to tell you, the longevity stayed all day. I put this on roughly at about 7 in the morning, and I took it off at about 6 in the evening, and it looked almost as intense as in the morning. It's crazy. So I do like to do the little sun-kissed look, so that's why I'm kind of going over the bridge of my nose and stuff, but again, I got a little messy, and it was I underestimated the pigmentation, so kind of having to mute it down just a bit with my sponge, but it's stunning. So going in with the highlighter by Makeup by Mario, I've already done a video on this, but it is my newest highlight. So this is the shade Pearl, and I have to tell you that the more I use this highlighter, the more I love it. It's not super intense, but you can tell that there's a highlight on the skin, but more than anything, I love how this melts into the skin, and for me that is number one for determining whether or not I like a highlighter, because I cannot stand highlighters that just sit like a layer over top of the skin. This one melts like butter. It's absolutely lovely. Going back into the palette, let's go back to the eyes. So shade B3, which is that lilac shade we used a little bit over the crease color. Just going to use a little stumpy brush and place this on the lower lash line. This is going to go over like pretty much 3/4 of the lower lash line, and then we're going to deepen it up using shade C5, which is of course the same shade we used to deepen up the lid. I'm going to use this on the outer portion of the lower lash line. Y'all, I struggled just because I am not an expert at just kind of making it look seamless from the lower lash line up into the outer portion of the crease. Some people make it look so easy. It's always a struggle for me, but end result was beautiful. Going in with my Essence, I think this is the Lash Princess mascara. It's the one thing I forgot to take out and place here next to me while I do this voiceover, but it's the one that everybody loves, so I'm sure you know which one it is. I love this mascara. Obviously, it's nothing new, but I find that every single time as I am placing it on my lashes, it kind of flakes a little bit and starts going onto my cheeks, so I have to be extra careful. All right, let's move into lips. Going in with the Milani Understatement lip liner in the shade 110 Nude Entrance. The lips are nothing new. I do not have a new lip product for this video, but the lipstick will be decently new. But this is a perfect lip liner, you guys, and my dog is, can you see him? Gotta get readjusted, gotta get comfortable, you know? These are so pigmented, they glide, they stay, they are just, I feel like this just really drew me in to using lip liners on a very regular basis. These are the ones I reach for the most. And then lastly, going in with the Hourglass, it's the Velvet Story. I always forget what these are called, but they're Velvet Story. This particular one is in the shade Touch. I love how these make my lips look airbrushed, no accentuating of the lines, and oh my goodness, the shade or the color lasts for hours without looking crusty and gross. So if you're in the market for a good liquid lipstick that doesn't dry out your lips and looks beautiful and stays, this is it. Well, you guys, that's the final look. I hope you enjoyed playing with some new makeup with me.
Well, just like that, that brings us to the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it just kind of enjoyable, quite frankly. I will tell you, the star of today's video for me is the blush palette. I love this thing so much. I did purchase both of them. I am a blush slash face palette type of girl, and this did not disappoint. The Norvina palette, beautiful. It is absolutely lovely. And you guys, the light is my shade in the Saie. If you are my same skin tone, light to light, medium, neutral, this is going to probably suit you better than the medium. The medium could have worked. It was just a little too harsh. This is I feel like it's slightly less red undertone. And yes, it's definitely lighter. So you may want to consider building up a little bit, you know, but I feel like it just looks a whole lot more natural on me than the medium did. So I'm very glad I swapped them out. So that's that. And then you guys, the Tarte Saie HydroFlex. This is the mini. I have since already gone and picked up the full size because I am so in love with this. I have to say, I mean, foundations have been killing it here lately, but favorite ever? That's a big claim, right? But this is beautiful. If you are on the fence, if you've been like me and you're like, what is it with this thing that everyone keeps talking about? Go try it out. Grab one. Or if you place the Sephora order, this is how I got mine. They have the free deluxe kind of sample things. That's how they pull you in, because I did that. And then I was like, after 2 uses, I was like, what? I need the full size. And I went and got the full size. So absolutely beautiful, stunning. My face looks flawless, airbrushed, and, you know, it looks filtered, and I don't, you know, there's no filter going on. So that being said, let me leave you with a very quick verse of the day just to encourage you and motivate you and tell you that Jesus loves you. Today's comes from Hebrews 13:5, and it says, God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. I find that very comforting a lot of times when I'm going through hardships, when I feel like I'm an island, when I feel like I'm very alone. We are never alone. He never forsakes us. And so it is just my invitation to you that if you don't already know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, that he would make himself ever so real to you, that you would feel him tugging at your heartstrings, that you would feel that call. A life with him is absolutely incredible. I cannot even stress that enough. And it's just an invitation to get to know him, to form that relationship with him, to invite him into your heart. All right, my friends, thanks again for stopping by, spending some time with me today. I will see you in the next video. So until then, stay safe and stay well. I love each and every one of you so very much, but Jesus loves you that much more. All right, friends, talk to you in the next one. Bye.